Not every animal is small, cute, or cuddly. Mother Nature has created some truly wild and unbelievable creatures over the ages, and our planet is home to many that are as massive as they are mysterious. Some of these animals are true giants, towering over humans and defying what we thought was possible. With that in mind, here are giant creatures you probably didn't know existed. Number 15. Namura's jellyfish. Measuring almost 2 meters across and as heavy as a male lion, it's hard to believe this jellyfish is just 6 months old. The size of a child's palm at first, the Namura's jellyfish is now larger than an adult human. With no bones to nourish, no complex organs to maintain, and very little energy wasted on swimming, the Namura's jellyfish's sole purpose is to grow. Drifting with the currents and leaving a trail of destruction in its wake, this deadly creature prefers plankton to people and is only responsible for the loss of 8 human lives. Because of their size, humans are not on the Namura's menu. Although large, they have tiny mouths, and that's plural. Yes, these jellyfish have hundreds of mouths. Mouths so tiny, they're virtually invisible to the naked eye. Imagine how handy that would be in an all-you-can-eat buffet. Well known for their greed, the species costs Japanese fisheries serious damage each year, with many looking at ways to turn this invasion into a resource. And the bad news is these guys are multiplying. Their sudden population explosion has been linked to climate change and overfishing. Number 14. Great white shark. Over the years, the ocean has played host to thousands of pretty oversized sharks, and their sizes continue to differ and increase throughout history. These predators are pretty dangerous and vicious when prompted, and you'd imagine with increased size comes increased risk. However, for some strange reason, many people seem to enjoy the thought of coming face to face with these creatures. Obviously, there's a cage between them, but let's face it, you've all seen what happens in Jaws. Cage or no cage. In Australia, there's a special week-long dive event hosted by Andrew Fox, a renowned ocean enthusiast. The days are spent shark diving as well as getting up close and personal with some of Australia's finest sea lions. These dives have seen sharks in great numbers, including many larger sharks. Obviously not on a megalodon scale, but certainly larger than your average great white. It's an experience that all ocean and shark lovers should give a try, even just once. I mean, how many people can say they've come face to face with a great white roaming the Great Barrier Reef and the Pacific Ocean and live to tell the tale? Not many, I bet. Number 13. Giant squid. With so many supernatural monsters, spirits, and demons in Japanese folklore, a surprise visitor on Christmas Eve 2015 had residents wondering if their eyes were deceiving them. A real-life sea monster was spotted by visitors chilling out on a pier overlooking the water in Toyama Bay in central Japan. Measuring 12 feet long, the monster was a giant red and white squid taking a quick dip in the bay, much to the visitors' surprise. It turns out that although giant, the little chap was merely a juvenile squid, and at almost 4 meters quite small considering they can grow up to 13 meters. Giant squids normally spend their lives in the depths of the open ocean, so to be able to get so up close and personal to one was more of a treat than a terrifying experience. In fact, they are normally found washed up on the shore after they have died. In 2004 and 2012, Japanese researchers were able to get images of these live giants by luring them up to the camera. However, the researchers had to make the journey several thousand feet below the surface. One of the Toyama Bay visitors was diver Akinobu Kimura. He simply jumped in the water with his submersible camera and obtained video footage that has been described as the most detailed and up-close viewing of a live giant squid yet. A bold move. Kimura lived to tell the tale, saying his curiosity was way bigger than his fear. Luckily, it all turned out well for both diver and squid, with the giant fella disappearing out to sea not long after the encounter. Number 12. Frilled shark. I don't know about you, but the very thought of meeting up with a shark keeps me out of the ocean. With thoughts of their razor-sharp teeth racing through my head, I'll happily leave those encounters to someone else. Thanks. Aside from its frightening appearance, the frilled shark is known as a living fossil. It lives in the deep, dark depths of the ocean floor and closely resembles Lord Voldemort's deadly snake companion, Nagini from the Harry Potter series. With a head like a lizard and a body like an eel, this thing is ugly. Not much is known about the frilled shark, even why it's called one. At first glance, you wouldn't think it was a shark. However, it's recognized as one because of its internal structure. Gills around the throat make it look more like a sea serpent, and the red fringe around them is what led to its name. A monster of a creature, it has 300 teeth aligned in 25 rows. And if that's not weird enough, they all face backwards. That must make eating difficult. Not only that, but they also lack fins, meaning they hover rather than swim. Now, that I would love to see from a safe distance, of course. Even though frilled sharks aren't the biggest animals in the world, do consider the size of it in this picture. Compare the kid to this horrifying-looking thing. It's pretty gigantic, if you ask me. If I ever see one while swimming, then consider me gone. Now it's time for today's topic. During a deep-sea expedition off the coast of Puerto Rico, researchers from the BBC Earth Oceanic Unit made a discovery that left even veteran marine biologists speechless. Their remotely operated vehicle, Abyss Explorer 2, was exploring a trench nearly 8,000 meters below the surface when its camera suddenly went dark, then flickered back on to reveal a colossal golden eye staring directly into the lens. The footage, captured in early 2024, shows what appears to be an enormous aquatic creature moving silently in the darkness, its scales glinting faintly under the submersible's floodlights. Experts reviewing the video estimate the creature's eye alone to be nearly 3 feet across, suggesting an animal of unimaginable size. The team was forced to recall the ROV after it registered massive pressure fluctuations and a powerful water displacement consistent with a large moving object nearby. After the clip was released, Discovery Channel and OceanX scientists joined the analysis, with some suggesting it could be an undocumented species of deep-sea cephalopod or prehistoric fish thought to be extinct for millions of years. Others remain skeptical, citing the lack of a full-body view. Regardless, the haunting image of that golden, reptilian eye staring through the deep has reignited debate about what still lurks in the unexplored 80% of Earth's oceans. Number 11. Giant sea lizard. With countless razor-sharp teeth and dull green eyes, this deep-sea predator would make a great addition to any horror movie. Forget our mechanical shark friend Bruce from Jaws. This bottom-dwelling lizard fish has a reputation for making almost anything in its path dinner. The ocean is home to many spectacular sea urchins, including the beautiful purple orb, glowing UFO jellyfish, and googly-eyed squid. But the giant sea lizard doesn't care. Not fussy, it devours them all and starts looking for more. A rather bizarre species at home in Australia's eastern abyss, the sea lizard is an ambush predator lying in wait for its unsuspecting prey. Hunting at depths of between 3,000 to over 8,500 feet, this terrifying monster of the deep is largely just a mouth with a tail. And one bite from its razor-sharp hinged teeth, and there's no escape. It eats anything and everything it comes across, including other lizard fish. Fortunately, they have both male and female reproductive organs, so there's no issue when it comes to reproduction. Whether this is good news or not, I'll leave up to you to decide. Number 10. Dragonfish. To be honest, this fish doesn't even look real. Not only is it extremely long, but it's also really flat. I can't imagine how difficult it must be to navigate its own body, let alone the ocean. This giant oarfish washed up in the Philippines in 2016, with many residents very excited by its beaching in Albay. In fact, the locals were ecstatic as it's very rare to see an oarfish because they don't pop up very often. These strange creatures resemble sea serpents, but much about them remains a true mystery of the deep. The dead fish measured 4 meters long and weighed 50 kilograms. And while it is the largest oarfish to hit Philippine shores, it is by no means the biggest ever seen. In 2013, California's Catalina Island played host to a 5.5-meter specimen that washed up dead on the beach, but the record stands at a whopping 11 meters. Speculation is rife as to why they sporadically wash up dead on the shore. Some believe their unusual body shape means they're easily injured, where others suggest changing currents and shifting distribution of their food source is to blame for forcing them to spend more time in the shallows. Number 9. World's biggest dog, the alibi. And not the type that gets you out of a sticky situation, but the canine type is a loyal friend and companion. No real surprises there. But what you might not know is that this special breed is one of the world's biggest. Weighing in at a whopping 120 kilograms and standing at over 2 meters on its hind legs, this dog is larger than the average adult man. With a history that dates back many thousands of years, the alibi has adopted many traits from its ancestors, including its height and weight. With a powerful physique, broad, well-developed chest, and large fangs, this dog presents an imposing figure. But don't be fooled, it's really just a big softie at heart. Fiercely protective of their owners, they're also patient and calm and don't act rashly. Popular guard dogs and working dogs, the alibi is strong and fast and has a keen eye that can accurately analyze a situation, making them perfect for protective duties. Number 8. World's largest eagle. Eagles are gracious birds of prey known for their strength, power, and persistence. In Japan, eagles can be found at the very top of the food chain. No surprises there. Experts at hunting prey and surviving the harshest weather conditions, these heavily built birds have had scientists and researchers fascinated for years. Now extinct, the Haast's eagle was the biggest eagle in the world with a wingspan of 3 meters and was one of the most ferocious predators of its time, preying on flightless birds like the moa, which was up to 15 times its weight. In fact, the continuous decline of these birds led to the Haast's extinction. The giant eagle weighed up to 17.8 kilograms and was considered one of the largest known true raptors. Today, The largest living eagle is the golden eagle that has a wingspan of up to 220 centimeters or 2.2 meters, considerably smaller than its giant ancestor. Number 7. The red-tailed catfish. With its only similarity to a cat being the whisker-type features on its head, the catfish is a delicious-tasting river fish mainly found in the Amazon. In 2013, a red-tailed catfish was caught in the Illinois River during the annual Hams Reading and A1 Welding Catfish Tournament. Fisherman Alan Ham Jr. was at first confused by his unusual catch, texting one of the organizers asking, "What the heck is this?" A fish expert was consulted and an Amazon red-tailed catfish was the reply. The discovery caused quite a stir among local fishermen, many of whom had never seen such a vividly colored species in the region's murky waters. The fish's deep orange-red tail and distinctive black and white body pattern stood out like a tropical gem in the gray Illinois current. It was speculated that the fish had been released into the river by an aquarium owner who could no longer care for it, a common issue with exotic species that often grow far larger than expected. Experts warned that such releases could upset local ecosystems, as non-native species sometimes outcompete native fish for food and territory. Alan later recalled the fight it put up, over 30 minutes of line-tugging strength before he finally brought it in. The red-tailed catfish, known for its incredible endurance, can deliver a battle worthy of the biggest freshwater predators. Photos of Alan's catch went viral online, sparking debates about invasive species management and the surprising adaptability of Amazonian fish in foreign environments. Biologists pointed out that the catfish's ability to survive in colder, northern waters was both astonishing and concerning. Said to reach weights of up to 180 pounds, the fish are easily recognized by the bright red markings on their tails and fins. Believed to have come from somebody's aquarium, the red-tailed catfish was a rare find. But it's not the only time one of these big cats has been found in the U.S. Others have been found in Florida, Nebraska, Missouri, Tennessee, and Texas. But the Amazon is considered the catfish capital of the world, with more turning up there than anywhere else. In fact, there are over 3,000 different species of fish that occur in the Amazon, and almost half of them are catfish. With 15 families, including over 1,300 species, some Amazon catfish are bottom dwellers, some nocturnal, some are parasites, and some are roving predators, with the biggest caught weighing a massive 134 kilograms. Now, that's one big cat, even if it's not of the four-legged variety. Number 6. The Chinese giant salamander. What looks like an oversized Mexican walking fish, the Chinese giant salamander is so critically endangered, it's facing extinction. The largest amphibian in the world, they grow up to 2 meters long and are very rare in the wild. Millions are kept in captivity, but they're not the easiest creature to look after. There are 3 species, with the South China being the largest. Incredibly, these salamanders can live for more than 60 years, spending nearly their entire lives underwater, breathing through their skin rather than lungs. Their eerie appearance, small eyes, wrinkled skin, and wide mouths, has earned them the nickname living fossils, as they have remained unchanged for millions of years. In ancient Chinese folklore, they were believed to be the embodiment of water spirits, and their haunting cries were thought to mimic the sound of a baby's wail, adding to their mysterious reputation. Sadly, their rarity has made them a target for poaching, as they are considered a delicacy in some parts of Asia and are used in traditional medicine. Conservationists warn that unregulated farming and hybrid breeding have severely disrupted wild populations, eroding pure genetic lines. Researchers in China now work tirelessly to locate genetically pure individuals in remote mountain streams, where untouched populations might still survive. Some of these efforts involve nocturnal expeditions into freezing rivers, using infrared cameras and acoustic devices to detect their faint movements. Despite the challenges, recent discoveries of isolated individuals in protected reserves have given scientists a glimmer of hope that true wild populations might still exist. Each requires targeted and separate conservation management to save them from dying out altogether. According to zoologist Samuel Turvey of London, UK, and his colleagues, those left in the wild must be located and species-specific breeding programs introduced. They have analyzed DNA taken from liver, muscle, and bone samples of 41 of the salamanders to help them find out more about the mysterious species. The genetic analysis showed that the 3 species were separated between 3.1 and 2.4 million years ago. This period coincides with the rising up of the Tibetan Plateau, which could have isolated the giant salamander population. Today, they are extensively moved around by Chinese farmers, making it difficult to determine their origin. Of those caught in the wild, some may have escaped from farms or been deliberately released, but it's believed that the original population has been almost completely wiped out. Number 5. Boss with horns, the ankle watusi. One can only imagine how difficult it is to carry around the headgear that these poor bulls do each day. It will be like wearing a crown but without the title and the life of privilege that goes with it. Best known for the very large horns that adorn their heads, the ankle-watusi is believed to have ancestral origins dating back as far as 4000 BC. The long-horned cattle first established themselves in the Nile Valley in ancient Egypt. In fact, they even appear in photos of Egyptian pyramids. These majestic creatures have horns that can reach up to 8 feet from tip to tip, and each horn serves more than just a decorative purpose. They function as natural cooling systems. Blood flows through a network of vessels inside the horns, releasing excess heat and helping the animal regulate its body temperature in the hot African climate. Despite their intimidating appearance, ankle-watusis are surprisingly docile and social animals, often seen huddling close together in herds for protection and comfort. Among the pastoral tribes of Africa, especially the Tutsi and Hema, these cattle are revered as symbols of wealth, power, and prestige, sometimes even treated as family members. In traditional ceremonies, owning a watusi with exceptionally large horns can elevate a family's social status. These cattle are also prized for their milk, which is rich and creamy, though they produce less than modern dairy breeds. Their resilience in harsh climates has made them invaluable to rural communities, able to survive on limited water and sparse vegetation. The Egyptian descendant migrated to Ethiopia and then further down the continent, breeding with the longhorn zebu to eventually form the ankle-watusi we see today throughout India, Pakistan, Africa, America, and Europe. The first herd in America was recorded in 1960, and an international registry was set up in 1983. At last count in 2016, there was approximately 1,500 head of the breed, with 80% of those farmed in the United States. Considered the showstoppers of the bovine world, these elegant and graceful cattle are usually red in color, with cows weighing up to 545 kilograms and bulls as much as 730 kilograms. And if you think that's heavy, spare a thought for the poor mother giving birth to a calf that can weigh anywhere up to 22 kilograms. That's a decent-sized calf. The entire herd are very protective of new calves, with the adult horns serving as weapons against intruders. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to take one on, that's for sure. Number 4. World's biggest bat. No, you're not watching a scene from Hotel Transylvania. This is real life, and as scary as they appear, these bats are completely harmless. The largest bat species in the world, with a wingspan of a massive 1.5 meters across, the flying fox can be identified by their fox-like faces, long wings, large, strong claws, and unique behavior. When hundreds of them take flight at dusk, the sky can turn into a swirling sea of silhouettes, an eerie yet mesmerizing sight for anyone lucky enough to witness it. Their colonies, known as camps, can number in the thousands, filling trees so densely that the branches bend under their weight. Locals often hear a low hum from the forest as they communicate through clicks and squeaks before taking off for their nightly feeding. During fruiting season, they are known to invade mango orchards, guava trees, and banana plantations, much to the dismay of farmers. Yet, ecologists emphasize their importance. Flying foxes play a crucial role in pollination and seed dispersal, keeping tropical forests alive and thriving. Some researchers have even tracked individual bats traveling over 100 kilometers in a single night, spreading seeds across entire islands. Despite their ecological value, these gentle giants face significant threats from habitat loss and hunting. In some parts of Southeast Asia, they are hunted for bushmeat or persecuted due to misconceptions about disease. Conservationists now work tirelessly to protect their roosting sites and educate communities about their vital role in maintaining rainforest health. Because they don't wear deodorant like us humans, these bats have a distinctive body odor. But unlike ours, theirs has a purpose. The special odor allows them to communicate with each other during the mating season. When pregnant, the females form their own colony. They give birth after 40 days, and in 2 to 3 months, their pups are fully developed and left to fend for themselves. They make parenting sound so easy. Masters of disguise, the bats' contrasting colors help them mingle with the environment, unseen by predators' prying eyes while they sleep throughout the day. Mainly nocturnal, these enormous bats spend their evenings traveling, with most able to cover 40 kilometers a night. They don't spend the whole time flying, however, as they occasionally stop to find food. The flying fox is mostly found in the tropical rainforests of the Philippines and East Asia, usually seeking the shelter of tall, leafless trees and deep caves. Number 3. Blossom. In May 2015, a cow that made it into the Guinness World Records sadly passed away. The adorable Blossom, owned by American Patty Meads Hansen, had injured her leg, and it was decided to put her out of her misery. The female Holstein will live on in the record books, however, as the world's tallest cow in history. She towered over most American adults at a staggering height of 1.9 meters, over 6 feet tall, and was measured at her home in Orangeville, Illinois for the record books in early 2015. Blossom's gentle nature made her a favorite not only on the farm but across her community, as locals often stopped by to see the gentle giant grazing peacefully. Children especially adored her, often feeding her carrots and taking pictures beside her enormous frame. Despite her size, Blossom was known for her calm temperament and friendly disposition, traits that endeared her to everyone who met her. Meads Hansen often described Blossom as more of a companion than livestock, saying she followed her around like a big puppy. When news of her record spread, reporters and animal enthusiasts from across the country reached out, turning Blossom into a minor celebrity. Her story captured hearts worldwide, symbolizing the beauty and gentleness of farm life. Even after her passing, Meads Hansen received hundreds of messages and letters of sympathy from people who had read about Blossom's life. The Guinness World Records organization also issued a statement honoring the extraordinary cow, noting that Blossom's record would stand as a testament to her uniqueness. Meads Hansen was emotional on learning Blossom had claimed the coveted record of the tallest cow, but said her beloved cow was unaffected by all the attention that once surrounded her. She said as long as she could count on her oats and daily chin rubs and ear scratches, she was happy. Having owned Blossom from just 8 weeks old, Meads Hansen said she was born to 2 normal-sized cows, both of whom she quickly outgrew. Meads Hansen's late father suggested she have the cow measured. However, he died before the record was officially confirmed. Number 2. Blue whale. The fact that these giant mammals are larger than dinosaurs doesn't mean much really, considering none of us were alive to see the comparison. So, let's talk about numbers instead. An adult blue whale can weigh up to 190 tons and measure just over 30 meters long. To put that into perspective, the largest mammal on Earth is bigger than 25 elephants or 115 giraffes. Despite their immense size, blue whales are surprisingly graceful swimmers, gliding through the water at speeds of up to 20 miles per hour when threatened or migrating. During feeding season, a single blue whale can consume up to 4 tons of krill a day, using its massive mouth to take in water and then pushing it out through baleen plates that trap the tiny crustaceans. Their heart alone weighs as much as a small car, and with every beat, it pumps nearly 60 gallons of blood through their colossal bodies. These gentle giants also produce one of the loudest sounds in the animal kingdom, a deep, low-frequency call that can travel hundreds of miles underwater, allowing them to communicate across vast distances. For decades, scientists struggled to study blue whales in the wild due to their elusive nature and the sheer expanse of their habitats. However, modern tracking technology has revealed incredible details about their migration patterns, showing how they travel thousands of miles between feeding and breeding grounds. In certain regions, such as off the coast of Sri Lanka and California, blue whale populations are slowly recovering thanks to conservation efforts, though they remain at risk from ship strikes, climate change, and noise pollution. Their songs, though hauntingly beautiful, are becoming increasingly drowned out by human-made ocean noise. Today, there are between 10,000 and 25,000 blue whales left in the ocean. This may sound like a lot, but it's not enough to save them from extinction. Until the end of the 19th century, blue whales were abundant in nearly all oceans on Earth. Unfortunately, they were almost hunted to extinction by whalers until the practice was banned by the International Whaling Commission in 1967. The commission estimates that between 1868 and 1967, almost 400,000 blue whales had been caught in whalers' nets. Between the male and the female is the larger of the two. Their bodies, however, are long and slender, and instead of blue, as you would expect, they are a slightly darker shade of grayish blue on the top and somewhat lighter underneath. With a diet that consists almost entirely of krill, the blue whale obviously isn't a fussy eater. Number 1. Big Ben. There's nothing quite like the freedom owning a horse can provide. Simply saddle up if you so choose and ride off into the sunset. But imagine if our horse weighed 3,000 pounds. You would be hoping it was a docile chap, wouldn't you? Well, this 6-year-old lad, co-owned by Sherry Van Ness and Charles Sod, perfectly fits the bill. Not only is he well loved by his owners, but he is also gentle and patient with children. Visitors to Paddock Farm often stop in awe the moment they see him emerging from his stable, his hooves echoing like thunder on the wooden floor. Children approach him with hesitation at first, but Big Ben's calm eyes and slow, steady movements quickly win their trust. During community events, he's often seen carrying kids on short rides, his massive frame moving with surprising grace. Despite his immense strength, he's known to lower his head gently when being brushed or given treats, as though fully aware of his size and the care needed around smaller humans. Sherry often jokes that Big Ben is part horse, part gentle giant, his favorite pastime being standing in the pasture, soaking up attention while the breeze ripples through his mane. On colder days, he can be found munching on hay, his breath forming clouds in the crisp air, a true king of his barn. His appetite is just as impressive as his frame. Feeding him requires almost double the hay of an average horse, and he has a particular fondness for apples and molasses. Even when pulling heavy carts during training sessions, his patience and discipline shine through, making him a model of strength with humility. Big Ben lives at Paddock Farm in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. In 2008, Sherry and Charles took him to a plant in Canaan, Connecticut, where there is a platform they weigh concrete trucks on. Up steps Big Ben, and his owners were overjoyed with the result, joking they were trying to make him into a bodybuilder. At 3,000 pounds or 1,360 kilograms, there's no mistaking this boy is big. The Belgian gelding stands 19.2 hands at the shoulder, slightly shorter than the world's tallest horse, Radar, who at 10 years old stands 19.3 hands or 6 feet 7 inches tall. Radar is, however, quite a lot lighter than Big Ben, weighing in at just 2,400 pounds. The heaviest horse on record, however, is a Belgian stallion named Brooklyn Supreme, who tipped the scales at 3,200 pounds. But no matter, Big Ben with his gleaming reddish coat and blazing flaxen mane is a stunning specimen and the pride and joy of his owners who offer Big Ben of the Berkshires tours at their farm. When it comes to massive mammals and other giant animals, it's always smart to know what you're getting into before any encounter, especially if it's planned. Some of these creatures may be gentle giants, while others are best admired from a safe distance if you value keeping all your limbs intact. Take the world's biggest dog, for instance. It might look adorable, but at 120 kilograms and with a name like Bulldozer, caution is definitely advised. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the other amazing videos appearing on your screen. See you next time.